All right, a very good morning to you. Welcome to Good Morning Ghana. It's the 1st of June 2022. So we have quite a number of stuff to also look at within this month, and we hope that God will take us through the activities of the new month. So have a good one as we start with the show. I'll give you the headlines of the newspapers. I'll start off with the Daily Graphic, and it says, a year on, motorway still in bad shape. A year on, motorway still in bad shape. And that is for the front page of the Daily Graphic. GRA to replace tins with Ghana card numbers next year. GRA to replace tins with Ghana card numbers next year. 320 recovered Pantang patients reintegrate with families. 320 recovered Pantang patients reintegrate with families. Prosecute BOG officials over CD depreciation. Lawyer petitions AG. Prosecute BOG officials over CD depreciation. Lawyer petitions AG. The Ghanaian Times, cancer, major killer disease in 2020. So we have 15,802 people died, 24,009 new cases recorded. GIDA proposes special tariffs for small-scale farmers to aid food production. RGP advises British High Commissioner to keep within limits. Daily Guide, Nana Kunedu scores Jean Mensah high. Okay. Cops run from lighting victim as family consult Nogokpo. Dampare jabs British envoy. Atuforcing trial begins. So this Nogokpo issue, we're told that the young man, the remains has been laid to rest yesterday after rituals were performed or something like that. Now the New Crusading Guide says, flags fall out on IGP, NDC Sami Jenfi and CESO's Pamela Dampare over letter to British High Commissioner. John Boadu enjoys huge endorsement from MPP gurus as he launches campaign. Dr. Felix Yamwa elected as new chairman for MPP Germany. Occupy Ghana demands stopper or on release of public lands. The top right corner, media houses should syndicate to become commercially viable. The Insights. Economic crisis looms. Economists warns over rising government borrowing. COPEC IES predicts rise in fuel prices. Samora Michael, an incisive military man and political figure who fought against the Portuguese fascist Nazi. Justice for Kwao Anaman movement speaks in Kwao Anaman versus KNUST case. The Informer. So this letter of Atamil's Memorial Heritage is back on the front page of the Informer newspaper. It says, Informer sends Alex Segbefia into hiding as Advisory Council goes mad at him. Addressing global economic challenges supports African economies, Bawumia charges AFDB. On motor traffic offense of hashtag Fix a Country movement convener, RGP replies British High Commissioner. 500 lifeguards pass out to save lives on Ghana's water bodies. And then in this issue, Christian Council urges calm in the wake of threats of terrorism attack. The Inquisitor. Seeing something, saying something. Security gurus in grudge. It comes with a picture of Major General Francis Edu Amanfo, retired, also Edward Kweku Asumeni, and also Albert Kandapa, National Security Minister. Sexcapades of minister in France out. Ooh. Sexcapades of minister in France out. So I think it's a brief here. It says that the Ghanaian Minister of State has caused the country's huge embarrassment following a nasty brawl. Among three ladies he traveled to France with on an official assignment because of his amorous relationship with them. Stay tuned. What are you doing to us? So, John Boydu grabs Team Bawumia. John Boydu grabs Team Bawumia. So in the picture, you find that some members of the NPP are with him, assumed that they are on the Bawumia camp. He launched his campaign yesterday. As he launched his campaign for re-election. Now, the Herald newspaper, Ashanti NPP boys line up to partner Bawumia as his running mate, but Ursula Owusu also interested. And guess who the Ashanti boys are? Joseph Osei Owusu, that's the second Speaker of Parliament. We have Osechi Mensah Bonsu, who is the majority leader. We also have Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, Minister, and then we also have Dr. Educhim, Minister. Ashanti MPP delegates give Justin Kodia rousing welcome. Opuni's defense witness overwhelms court with facts and figures, says district officers are getting calls about his cocoa farms. Ex to whom MCE gets endorsement for NDC Women's organizer bid. Jospon Boss promises Ghana Navy speed boats. Jospon Boss promises Ghana Navy speed boats. The Daily Statesman, DI, MPP deepening Ghana's democracy. And that's the Danko Institute. To break the eight, not about testing waters. To break the eight, not about testing waters. John Boydu launches campaign for re-election. Odro Osai, current asset declaration law defective. Bawumia urges industries to embrace digital leadership. The Daily Searchlight. Digital leadership in 21st century is a must. Vice President Bawumia. ECD project is progressing steadily. Governor of Bank of Ghana. And the best for General Secretary job, John Boydu. Bakavomo's arrest. Mind your own business. Dan Parry tells British High Commissioner. Occupy Ghana. Rise to Lands Minister. The Ghanaian publisher. NPA boss grabs public sector award. Let's take history together. John Boydu to NPP delegates. Police blast British envoy over diplomatic conduct. Bakbing Mensah swallowed their egos. Smoke peace pipe. Western region NPP youth endorsed Dr. Akoto. The Finder. UK High Commissioner's Bakavomo's arrest tweets uninformed police. NPA boss named outstanding police public sector leader of the year. We're not disturbing online loans, EcoBank. Let's not repeat mistakes of 2008. My election winning experience needed to break the eight, John Boydu. The Daily Post. Stop transfer of ownership of Achimota Forest. One Ghana movement tells government. Ghana's history without Zoom Lion is incomplete. Paramount Chief of COO, Dasabre Japan, eulogizes Zoom Lion. NDC Professionals Forum USA inaugurates executives, and they're on the front page. NDC flays IGP Dampare for his attack on the British High Commissioner. Business and Financial Times. Government will work with private sector to harness AFCFTA, that's after benefits. Telcos lose 300,000 mobile money subscribers in April. 4,000 agents gone. Volume goes down by 10 million. Value of transaction declines 2.8 billion Ghana cedis. Introduced 30-year domestic bond to ease financial burden, finance expert. DBG's arrival is timely for all, GCB boss. Fidelity Bank is best bank in West Africa. That's also in the paper. You can grab a copy and read the details. And that's it for the headlines this morning. Let's go for a breather. I'll be back.
In the first 2 years, your baby will experience amazing growth in so many ways. To fuel it, they need the right nutrition. With Cerelac, 1 bowl of goodness a day provides the wholesomeness of carefully selected grains, the Iron Plus, which helps support brain development, and the yummy taste baby loves, assuring you the right nutrition in 1 bowl. Cerelac, it's all good, Mom.
This advert is FDA approved.
Toland Ghana Limited has got all your electronics and appliances needs. From televisions to air conditions, kitchen appliances like microwaves, rice cookers and kettles amongst others. From the 4th to the 5th of June 2022 from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily, join us at the Movenpick Ambassador Hotel, Accra to join fantastic discounts. Remember, entry is free.
Trasaco Estates, home to Accra's most beautiful and luxurious homes, presents its newest addition, Trasaco Springs, a premium master planned community of service plots surrounded by an exhaustive list of amenities. The gated community of Tema to Accra Motorway presents you the finest opportunity to own a land that suits your preferred size, budget and payment terms. Trasaco Springs is open to you for development. Our on-site sales executives are ready. Call on 055 659 2658.
Ghana for Madam Hisense in you. Yeka Hisense. Mwamu nimse eye home appliances efe eye papa entry power ne buona so dafo Hisense ubeto abrochim sa quality na ubeto ni Ghana enunti na yenya hotoso ya mawo 5 years manufacture defect warranty say refrigerator, chest freezer, air condition, television, sound system, water dispenser, microwave oven, blender, gas cooker, electric cooker, washing machine, smartphone, rice cooker, kettle, and iron. Yahu sense you talk. Nasa forma yedi. Enti abuano die. Yesisi no pawo bia. Enti bora high sense showroom bia. Say Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Takrade, Takwa, Mankesim, Obuasi, Sunyane, Techiman, Tamale, Hohoi, Kofoidia, Konako Jodie. High sense, everyday prices for everyday people.
To help meet your business and private printing needs successfully, we have just the right products and services. At Appointed Time Printing Limited, we specialize in digital printing, offset printing, packaging and security printing. Our innovative designs and complete professional touch on our print products such as posters, flyers, brochures, magazines, whole cards and any other print solution of your choice ensure that our customers are are always happily connected to their audience. With our security printing section, our clients are assured of a highly secured and confidential work process from start to finish. At a point in time, our prices are very, very competitive. Locate us at the old GNTC building near Swansea Shopping Arcade, Accra. Contact us on 0501 454165, 0501 454167. Appointed Time Printing Limited. Our printing is the solution.
Burgers for 6. Did you say 6? Open the app. Ding dong. Global. Your favorite moment.
What's your favorite ice cream?
Ding dong. Global.
Go on.
Order what you want. We will bring anything you want. Ding dong. Global.
Order it now. Download the app. Order a Global and we will deliver.
Ding dong. Global.
I shall protect the public purse by insisting on value for money in all transactions.
The 2020 and 2024 and beyond is a movement, and it is stronger than apartheid. It's as strong than apartheid. Nobody can stop it. John Mahama cannot stop it. It's a movement. And they are there 2020 no. Me say ya bonnet said the Shatawale or Bonyumono. What you say high life. Me say obe who the size.
The governing New Patriotic Party is set to conduct its regional elections from the 27th to the 29th May this year. Various aspirants are gunning to maintain their seats, while others try to unseat the incumbent. One such person seeking to maintain a seat is the current Greater Accra Regional Youth Organizer of the MPP, Moses Abo. Party supporters from across the various constituencies in the region on Tuesday thronged the party's office to accompany him to file his nomination forms to seek re-election. Mr. Abo, whose campaign message is possible together, expressed confidence his leadership qualities put him above his contenders. He insisted that he has what it takes to canvass votes for the party going into the 2024 elections.
You can see it by yourself. I'm going to work with the youth and the party as well. And you can see almost all the constituency youth organizers and the TESCOM president have gone to pay for my filing fee.
John Boadu led the MPP in the 2016 elections as the General Secretary of the party. This followed the removal of some officers of the party, including Paula Foku, Sami Crab, and Kwabena Eje Ejapon, who was then the General Secretary. The party won a historic election, bringing the Akufo-Addo-led government into office. John Boadu, who worked as the General Secretary of the party, believes he has what it takes to lead the party into the 2024 general elections. He said the MPP will need to position itself as a credible party to break the eight, stressing the MPP needs tried and tested officers to lead the party to victory in the 2024 general elections.
My position is fortified by the fact that our great party is seeking to do what no political party in the Fourth Republic has been able to do, which is to break the eight and win. Win 3 successive general elections. To achieve this, the party needs to put forward its best foot. And here, experience will count a lot.
He therefore called on all delegates to vote for him massively to ensure the party retains power.
This is the time the rich experience that I have acquired working together with my colleagues for the party will be needed most. Certainly, this is the time the MPP needs my organizational and election winning experience as General Secretary.
A former Speaker of Parliament, Professor Aaron Mike Okwe, warned delegates against changing a winning team.
The man has been tried, tested, and proved. In fact, I would like what he has written there to be changed. Tried, tested, and proved to be able. And that young man worked hard, showing cooperation with everybody until this hour.
Delegates from Ashanti region, Greater Accra region, and 14 other regions, including current and past members of parliament and other bigwigs of the party, have declared their support for John Boadu.
You're welcome back. So you're still on Good Morning Ghana. I think it is well. We are in the NPP era, maybe at the time when they are having their primaries and the regional elections has ended. And so we're reminding of ourselves of what has happened or what happened over the weekend and how they're preparing for the national level. Remember that Central region is still outstanding due to a court injunction. So we're following through on that one as well. Well, this morning, Eric Amakuchum has joined me, the national organizer hopeful for the NPP. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Good morning to you. What were you over the weekend?
This weekend, well, last weekend I was actually in my home region, Eastern region.
Eastern region.
And during this week, I've been in Greater Accra. Yesterday, as at even almost midnight, we're still out and about meeting party delegates. Actually, I want to use this opportunity to say a very good morning to the constituency executives of Adenta, Medina, Okankwe South, Okankwe North, and Central for the warm reception that they gave us yesterday when we visited them. We've also done in Greater Accra, Trobu, and Domiko Abinya. Tomorrow we'll be headed into the Eastern region, and then we would come back to the Greater Accra as and when we're done with the Eastern region. Then we'll move on to the various regions.
So you're on the campaign now?
Yes, we are, yes.
Okay. Well, you weren't at the... let me welcome Kwesi Pratt first. Welcome Kwesi Pratt first. You're welcome. Good morning to you. I hope you're fine. Were you in town over the last weekend when the NPP was having its primaries?
No, I wasn't.
Where are we? Yeah. Okay. So Eric, you didn't go for John Boadu's campaign launch?
No, because I was also, as we speak, he's an aspirant, and I'm also an aspirant. So whilst he was launching his campaign, I was also on the field speaking to the various constituency executives, and so I wasn't present.
How do you think you fared as MPP, as a party?
How do
you think the party actually fared during the
last
primaries?
Yeah, I mean, I was very impressed with the overall management of the process, and of course, I mean, I'm sure that if anything untoward had happened, you guys would have picked on that already. By and large, I think that we've done 15 regions. We just have one outstanding, like you said. And I mean, the processes were peaceful. People had an opportunity to sell their various messages. And the delegates, as usual, knew what was best for the party going forward. And they made decisions. And these are decisions that we need to respect. As far as I'm concerned, there's also a very clear signal. You know, sometimes when it comes to elections, people take it in the absolute terms. But the reality is that if you look at the various aspirants and how many votes they got in terms of percentage-wise and the number of contestants and all that, it presents a different story. And once those processes are over, then it behoves on both the victors, who I think that are supposed to be magnanimous, and the other, aspirants that did not win, to come together to forge a united front to prosecute an agenda which we know, for example, in our parts of the world has never happened before, where you have a political party that would go and break the eight, like we are saying. And so, yes, I am happy that we've gone through the process. Once we're done with the central region, then the national executive elections also would actually be kick-started.
What do you make of the Wontumi chairmanship? It's been one of the very controversial, discussions after the elections or after he won.
I don't. What do you mean controversial? I don't have. I think that it's good for
controversy in terms of allegations of him paying his way through.
Well, I don't know that. Listen, the stakes are always high, and you have to bear in mind that the Ashanti region is essentially the stronghold of the NPP, and if an election of that sort is being run, people would have interest, and that's exactly what transpired. And like I said, once you win, if you win with even one vote, it's a manifestation that the people or the democratic process has been respected. But then it tells a totally different story when you delve deeper in terms of the fallout. And I'm happy that even Chairman Wontumi, immediately after he won, the very next day, went round to the various contenders, to their various homes, and actually extended an olive branch to them to say that he wants to work together. Then that is what you want in a political party. And so, I didn't see any controversy at all. The people in Ashanti region who were the delegates made a decision. They were presented with choices, and they made a choice. And I believe that any consummate Democrat should be able to accept that and respect the decision that the delegates have made.
Anyway, what do you have to think? I know you weren't in the country, but I'm sure you may have picked one or two.
Well, I follow these developments. These days it's not very difficult to follow the developments, so we all do follow the developments. I'm struck by the poverty of analysis, after these congresses or conferences, the analysis is so poor that I just wonder what people want to achieve. For example, we have some people who say that, we have 16 regions. Out of the 16 regions, 12 of the chairpersons who were elected are sympathetic to a particular presidential candidate, and therefore that presidential candidate is going to win the primaries. I don't know how to describe this kind of analysis. It's so poor. Defeats logic, defeats the laws of mathematics. It's unbelievable. Listen, you have a chairperson, you have vice chairpersons, you have a secretary, you have youth organizers and so on, all contesting. Let us assume that all the 16 chairpersons who were elected are for a particular presidential aspirant. Let us assume that. Is it not possible also that all the secretaries who were elected do not support what the chairpersons stand for? In which case, if you go to Congress, you have 16 against 16. So which chairman won is not sufficient to determine, you understand, who is going to win the race for presidential candidature. And then you have to watch the voting pattern. In some instances, somebody wins the chairmanship race with sometimes 40% of votes cast. It means that although he's won, 60% of those casting their votes may not go along with the chairperson. There's a factor you have to put in when you are doing your calculations. You understand? In some instances, just at the level of chairperson, somebody wins with 51%, The other comes second with 49%. That's pretty close. And you have to factor that into your calculation. So all the things that are being published, and I wonder why newspapers, the media is behaving the way the media is behaving. Poverty of analysis. Yesterday, I read one particular story, and I was scandalized. I was scandalized because that story also found its way onto the front page of the Insight. And I was so scandalized. The same story, same words, same everything, the same. And it was published in about 5 or 6 newspapers at the same time. So who is sitting somewhere writing these stories and planting them in the various newspapers?
On the front pages.
And the shock of it is that it found its way on the front page of a newspaper that I'm very closely associated with.
So you shocked yourself?
I was so shocked. I mean, when I saw Inside yesterday morning, I was wondering, what is happening at the Inside? What is this? So somebody must be working very, very hard. Churning out misinformation and poor analysis and putting them in all the media. And we in the media also allowed that to happen. It's incredible.
But when you receive stories that are probably meant for planting as newspapers, do you have a way of checking if same scripts, wording has been sent to other papers?
It should not even happen. Newspapers, radio stations and television stations should not take already prepared scripts and just publish. It is so unethical, basic, so unethical. And yesterday, I saw it all over the place. And the analysis is so poor. I mean, you take a primary school kid who can read and write. If they read that story, they know that it is not worth anything. And yet, bam, front page read. 6 newspapers. And then it's repeated on radio, it's repeated on television and so on. I think, look, we should do ourselves we should respect ourselves, and we should act in ways which will make the public have confidence in us, and look, it happened in the newspaper that I am associated with, a newspaper that, if you look at the imprint, my name is there as managing editor, and it happened. Let us uphold a certain minimum level of professional ethics. Jesus Christ.
Okay, well...
and it's some of the claims which are being made in this campaign are so very ridiculous. Look, for every person, there's a first time. And if we're going to dwell on so-called experience, then there'll be no need for elections. You understand? People think that by virtue of the fact that they've occupied a position means that they've acquired experience, and therefore it is important to retain them. When they were coming in,
what, did they have this experience?
Did they have that so-called experience? Did they have it? And if they came in without experience, why can't others also come in without experience? In any case, what is experience? Experience is not about going through motions which do not affect you in any way. Experience is learning the lessons that you learn when you go through a process. You can go through that process without learning any lesson at all. And that is not experience. You understand? For everybody and anybody who holds a position in the New Patriotic Party, they started from ground zero. You understand? Nobody was born as a national chairperson. Nobody was born as a general secretary or national organizer. They all started from zero. And indeed, sometimes incumbency is a disadvantage. You understand? Because if you look at the results that the NPP got in the last elections, presidential and parliamentary elections, incumbency is a disadvantage. To the extent that NPP lost more than 20 seats in the last elections. So if you come and you are talking about your experience because you managed the last election, what experience are you talking about? Experience in losing parliamentary seats? Is that the experience for which people should vote for? Why? The presidential candidate lost more than 500,000 votes compared to the previous elections. Is it the experience you're selling? I think people should get real and stop this cacophony of whatever it is, you know.
No, maybe they've picked up a few signs on the ground and willing to apply it in 2024. In 2024, the agenda is breaking the 8. It's not for fresh starters. Breaking the 8.
No, but that is that's a very erroneous. Listen, the Black Stars are playing today.
Yes.
Abedi-Pele is not in the team. No, I'm telling you. I mean, I'm making. No, it is not. It is not. You see, a political party is a fluid, dynamic entity. It's an organization. Well, that's why I call it an organization. And every now and then, it needs a bit of. I mean, of course, I'm not contesting general secretary, so that's not really why I'm saying this. But you always need a certain injection of dynamism and new ideas to freshen up, because that's the whole point of even any organization. You can even take out a political party, even in your own Metro TV. I've been coming to Metro for like 10 years. It has changed. You understand? Because you always have to basically be ready with the times and all the things. Like one of the things that I have seen, for example, is, you know, in 2016 or so, there was this whole conversation about a company called Cambridge Analytica and the association with the NDC at the time. And do you know what exactly they were doing? The whole terrain when it comes to political marketing and science in terms of electoral processes and party management and how people are able to come up with their reasons for voting in a political party and all that has changed. So yes, I mean, whilst there's a certain need for some kind of institutional memory and all of those things, it cannot be the case that, I mean, if someone has new ideas and wants to contribute their quota to the victory that the party requires, that person should be not allowed by virtue of the fact that they haven't done it before. Because there's always a first time. And in reality, sometimes you require new ways of thinking and doing things. You know, and this whole idea that there are some people who the party actually needs more than they need a party. As far as I'm concerned, it's ridiculous. We have had Dubois and J.B. Dankwa and Dombo and President Akufo-Addo and J. Kufuor and all those people. I mean, J.H. Mensah, people who have passed through the party. Nobody is bigger than this political party, and the party does not need anybody more than... No, because it's a party that if you go to the polls and 6.7 million people or so, 6.8 million, those are people who actually go to the polls and vote for the party. And there are people who are probably unsung heroes. The woman who opens their doors for party agents to come and eat when there's voter registration exercises, the people who we have meetings in their homes, polling station chairman, people have been chairman for 24 years, 25 years and all that. Those are the people who the party needs. It's not anybody that, by virtue of the fact that you've had an opportunity to be at the party leadership, by virtue of that, you become more important than the political party. No, there's nobody. And so I mean, this whole idea that there are persons that if they are not within the party framework and apparatus, the party will not move on. It doesn't sit with me.
But there are so many people. You want to ignore the fact that as much as you need fresh ideas, fresh energy.
Yeah, but
there are some people, once they are in active service. You mentioned Kufuor is no more in active service, so we cannot use him.
No, but I'm just saying that the party.
Active service.
I'm just saying that people have served. People have served, right? And that's why it's an election. It's an open contest. And you open nominations for party people who have an interest in managing the party too. And so, I mean, I do not begrudge anybody selling experience as part of it, but the party does not have to be blackmailed into making a decision that because A, B, C, D have done this in the past. By virtue of that, we should know. And even in the last elections, you see, sometimes when you look at even the analysis of what pertained at the polling station level, at the constituency level, where close to 60-something% of all incumbent constituency executives were changed, it's a signal, right? Which means that there's always a need for us to re-engineer, restructure, have an input of new ideas, prosecute an agenda. And we can only do that in unity. So you can't create a certain impression that anybody that is attempting to contest an election is basically an outsider and all that. But even when we go to the constituency executive, that is not what they tell us. They will tell you that there's a need for us to re-engineer the party and do new things and add new people to all of these things. So yes, I would wish anybody that is contesting well, but this whole idea that there are some people who, for one reason or the other, have had, because you see, when you do that, you suppress the grassroots. There's nothing wrong with people endorsing people and all that, but once you have a certain position, right, where there are persons within the political party who have contributed, there are people who you never mention their names. There are people who have lost their lives.
Someone is reaching you from London. He said good morning to you, Annie. It is palpable false that Cambridge Analytica had any business doing with the NDC. Eric's sly smear is very unfortunate. Kofi Adole, I actually thought it was so sly that you sneaked that in.
No, I'm just saying that. Listen, I mean, but that is up to him. I was giving you an idea, an analogy of the whole process of marketing when it comes to political messaging and how perceptions and ideas are changed and news. I mean, you're talking about fake news. We're in the era of fake news. We're in the era of using technology to sway people's perceptions and inclinations and all that. And I'm saying that the era of that kind of politicking where you stand on the podium and shout, chobo, chobo, it's over. People are using technology to access information, and they are actually more critical of what we do as a political party. So the persons that represent to push that agenda, to prosecute that agenda, should be people who would push that particular narrative. That's my point.
Right. Yes.
You know, look, I think that I know the New Patriotic Party fairly well. You understand? If for nothing at all, I inaugurated the first Dankwa Buzia Club at the KO Methodist Park in Kumasi with Bishop Asante Entry and Akoto Ampao. We inaugurated the first Dankwa Buzia Club. That says something. I think I know this party fairly well. Now, all over the years, this party has survived and so on because of the commitment of its members. To some ideals and so on. All over the years, this party has never been built as, or was not intended to be built as a patronage machine. So those who are sitting in Accra and thinking that they can use bags of money to influence the outcome of this election are joking. They don't know their own party. If they knew their own party, they'd be thinking twice. Indeed, the results of the last elections clearly show that patronage is not going to work. We are hearing all kinds of stories. One of the stories that I've heard, for example, is that in one of the regions, one of the contestants gave every delegate a motorbike, plus a tricycle, plus a flat screen color television set, plus a refrigerator, plus 10,000 Ghana cedis, and he still lost.
For one candidate?
Yes, he still lost. That's a huge statement. And I'm not making this story up. I spoke to somebody deeply involved in the person's campaign and told me the story. You understand? So if you can give one motorbike, one tricycle, refrigerator, flat screen television, plus 10,000 cedis and still lost and still lose so badly, it shows that money doesn't decide everything in this party, you know, or shouldn't. So those people who are sitting in Accra, who use bags of money dishing it out left, right, and center, and organizing grandiose ceremonies and so on, they may be deceiving themselves. Why? Ask yourself, B.J. Darocha, how much money did B.J. Darocha have? And yet B.J. Darocha is one of the most distinguished general secretaries of any party that has emerged from the Dankwa Buzia tradition. I mean, Professor Albert Edubuaini, how much money did he have? In 1991-92, when we formed the Movement for Freedom and Justice, he had a small saloon car which could not even travel to Kumasi. And yet it was the person around whom the party rallied, because he had come to symbolize something. You understand?
But will you consider the dynamics of the voter at that time?
I have. I look at all of that. People are deceiving themselves that there's a new situation and so on. There's no new situation. Every voter, whether at a party congress or in national elections and so on, has aspirations. And those aspirations cannot be reduced to an envelope containing 10,000 cedis. Those aspirations are far bigger than any envelope containing any amount of money. And the earlier the contestants realize that, the better it will be for them. Otherwise, very soon, there will be gnashing of teeth. There will be gnashing of teeth and tears all over the place. You can evaluate the performance of the contestants, those who claim that they are in office and therefore they should have incumbency advantage and so on. You can evaluate their performance. Okay? All of us, we can do that evaluation. And in most cases, it doesn't look good. Look at the results of the last elections. Look at the results of the last elections. That alone is a full statement. The results of the last elections is a full statement. Now, I'm sitting on this panel this morning, and I'm one of those people who is going to vote 2024. We are going to make choices. What choices are we going to make? One, who, when they get power, will work to ensure that potable water is available to all the 30 million Ghanaians? That's a critical question. Who, if elected, would improve access to education and the quality of education, access and quality? Who, when elected, will create the conditions for everybody capable of working to get a job to do? Who, when elected, will work to stabilize the city? Who, when elected, will ensure that we can all speak freely? There will be freedom of expression and freedom of association. Who, when elected, will ensure that this male-dominated society changes and that the rights of women are restored? Who, when elected, will ensure that women do not have to dump their babies at home and go to work 6 weeks after delivery? And for me, that's the most important point. You understand? I have 3 children. I've seen babies who are 6 weeks old. And I think one of the most callous things anybody can do is to leave a 6-week-old baby at home and go to work. But that is what our society has imposed on women. That is what our society has imposed on families and so on. Our society says that you go on maternity leave 6 weeks before delivery and 6 weeks after delivery. I think that's a most callous development. And the next election, I want to see that on the agenda. The women's groups, people who value the rights of babies and so on. We should put that on the agenda and make sure that it becomes a major issue in the next elections. 6-week-old baby. If you go to our workplaces, there are no creches, where women can take their babies and children so that they can be working in a peaceful atmosphere and so on.
I thought some companies,
if you look at the profile,
are beginning to
if you look
create
at
that.
But that's a good thing if they are doing it. But we should do it on a nationwide, large scale.
A national.
You understand? If you look at the profile of women in public service, are you not worried? Look, 51% of the Ghanaian population is made up of women. 51%. If we do not mainstream women's participation in the national development effort, we are losing 51% of your potential for development. Your human capital for development is being lost. And I feel very passionately about the issue of women and so on. These are the things we want to hear. So those vying for positions in NDC, in NPP, in CPP and so on, they should speak to us and stop this cacophony of I've been there longer than everybody else and so and so on. It annoys some of us. You've been there longer, so what? How does that improve the plight of women? You've been there longer, so what? How does that contribute to improving access to education and the quality of education? You've been the Methuselah in a certain position, so what? Methuselah, so what? How does that concretely contribute to stopping the flooding in our major cities? People die when it rains. Why should people die when it rains? These are the issues. They should stop this cacophony of I've been there long. Long how? Even if you take the history of the restoration of multi-party, and so on. 1992. It was restored in 1992. Up to now, how many years? And you've been sitting there for 8 years, and you have become a Methuselah. What is this?
All right. There are three security issues that's come up. One has to do with these teenagers that had their sex videos go viral and were publicly whooped for that. I don't know if I should consider as a cultural practice, whatever it is. We'll get into that. There's also the issue of IGP responding to the British High Commission. But let me give you this one before we go on break. When we come back, we'll deal with this matters. GBA places 20,000 bounty on lawyers' killers. So the Ghana Bar Association has announced a 20,000 bounty, that's 20,000 Ghana cedis bounty for anybody who will volunteer credible information that will lead to the arrest of the gunmen who attacked and killed a member, Mr. Richard Badombi, over the weekend. So the association has also appealed to the relevant security agencies to carry out swift and thorough investigations into the incident. Now, the statement jointly signed by Yawa Champon Bafo and Kweku Joe Bafo, President and Secretary respectively of GBA, said the association will do everything within its power to ensure the arrest and prosecution of perpetrators of this abominable crime and face the full rigors of the law. It noted that the suspected armed robbers on Saturday attacked the vehicle and shot the lawyer dead on the Bole Bamboy Highway in the Savannah region. So that's the update coming in from the GBA. The GBA made some allegations that, crime has gone up and all that, and the police came up and said that, no, we're sorry. We spoke with some security analysts who said that because your own is affected, you are now claiming that crime has gone up. But comparing crime this year, 2022, to last year, 2021, crime has actually gone down. We're yet to maybe, end the year. So when we end the year, then you can do a fair analysis of how crime fared this year. But let's go for a breather. When we come back, we'll get into the security area.
In the first 2 years, your baby will experience amazing growth in so many ways. To fuel it, they need the right nutrition. With Cerelac, one bowl of goodness a day provides the wholesomeness of carefully selected grains, the Iron Plus, which helps support brain development, and the yummy taste baby loves, assuring you the right nutrition in one bowl. Cerelac, it's all good, Mom.
This advert is FDA approved.
I'm tired and frustrated. After meeting all our targets, company cannot help us with our health needs.
Honestly, they are not helping us. Something has to be done about this.
You see, just yesterday I was at the hospital with my wife. And can you imagine the amount of money being charged? So outrageous.
Relax, guys. Just leave everything to me. Today I will deal with him accordingly.
You have to.
I surely will. Today be today. Sir, we want to leave. We are tired. We've been doing everything possible to ensure the success of this organization, but it looks like our healthcare is not taken into consideration. Am I speaking your mind?
Yes, you are.
And that is not fair.
Get a Cosmopolitan Health Insurance for all your employees today and have an easy life. Call us for your package.
Okay, guys, you are leaving because I have good news for you.
Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, providing the highest levels of coverage possible to our clients.
I'm Regina.
Do you want a modern vision for your office or a touch of sophistication for your living and bedroom spaces? Look no further than Kingdom Books and Stationery. At Kingdom Books and Stationery, we've been selling furniture and stationery for more than 20 years. Ours is a trusted brand that offers contemporary furniture designs that are elegant and timeless. And with so many designs, there is something for everyone. Discover our enormous range of affordable office furniture. We have executive and swivel chairs, office desk, tables and office equipment such as office safes, computers and accessories, as well as cabinets and shredders. Make your home a sanctuary with our wide range of home furniture, including beds, wardrobes, coffee and dining tables, and poolside chairs. And that's not all. We have hard copy books, notebooks, and all the accessories you would need for school or your workplace. So visit us today. You can locate us on the Osutla Road or the Akwa J Junction in Accra. Alternatively, you can shop online at www.kingdomstoreonline.com. Kingdom Books and Stationery, delivering the promise.
Burgers for 6. Did you say 6? Open the app. Ding dong. Global. Your favorite moment.
What's your favorite ice cream?
Ding dong. Global.
Go on.
Order what you want. With here, bring anything you want. Ding dong. Global.
Order it now. Download the app. Order it global and we will deliver.
Ding dong. Global.
Welcome back to Good Morning Ghana. So we will go into the security areas now. The IGP, I'm reading from the Ghanaian Times newspaper, IGP advises British High Commissioner, I think we have the statements, so it will be scrolled on your screen, about 4-page statement to caution the British High Commissioner. Now, the Inspector General of the Police, Dr. Akufo Dampare, has asked the British High Commissioner to Ghana, Harriet Thompson, to keep within the limits of what concerns her. Now, this comes on the back of the High Commissioner's tweet on Tuesday, May 17, 2022, which read, Oliver Bakavomawo, a convener of Fix the Country movement, arrested again. I understand for a mortuary offense on his way to court. I'll be interested to see where it goes. Dr. Dampare, in a statement issued, signed and copied to the Ghanaian Times in Accra, therefore recommended a Ghanaian saying to guide the commissioner's diplomatic engagement. So the saying goes, "Diwufiasem," meaning mind your business. He said the tweet was considered a violation of the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations 1961, which enjoined diplomatic missions not to interfere in the internal affairs of the host country. Dr. Dampare noted that the police would not have responded to comments such as yours, obviously made from either a biased or uninformed position. However, we have learned from previous painful experience that it has not been helpful to ignore such misguided, unwarranted and biased comments intended to tarnish the reputation of the Ghana Police Service and that of our country, he added. The IGP reminded the Commissioner that Mr. Bakavomowo in February this year threatened the security of the state by categorically stating his intention to stage a coup d'etat because and cause instability in the country if the army, which he referred to as useless, was unable to do so. So Dr. Dampare also added that in line with the laws of the Republic of Ghana, he was arrested and taken through due process and was granted bail by a court of competent jurisdiction. The matter is still pending before the law courts. The IGP said Mr. Bakavomowo was among other drivers who were arrested separately for road traffic offences on May 17, 2022, and were all arraigned in court, where some pleaded guilty, were convicted and paid their fines accordingly. However, this person pleaded not guilty, was granted bail by the court and was released after fulfilling the bail conditions, Dr. Dampare said. As such, the IGP said the country treasured its security agencies and was anxious to build them into strong and revered pillars of society that perform their duties excellently. So this is how the Ghanaian Times captured the story. Now, we're told that the British High Commissioner has also responded. And what has she what did she say, in response to what Dampare wrote? So this is on, City Online. It says that Mr. Bakavomowo's tweet, not an act of interference, British High Commissioner. The British High Commissioner to Ghana, Harriet Thompson, has refuted the police service assertion that her tweets about the arrest of the Fix the Country movement convener Oliver Bakavomowo was an act of interference. Speaking on an Accra-based GH1, the High Commissioner suggested that there was no chance her tweet via Twitter could rile up Ghanaians and foment insecurity, as was suggested by the police. Quote, "If I thought there was the remotest chance of that, I wouldn't have been tweeting like that. That is clearly not my intention," Harriet Thompson said. Harriet Thompson was tweeted, the tweet is already then. He said that the police responded strongly worded. I've already read this. But Thompson said that the police assertion felt like an overreaction. An overreaction. Quote, "To me, it feels like a stretch. It feels like me saying I am interested in something is long way from people saying we must take to the street," Harriet Thompson said, commenting on something that is of great interest to a lot of people in the country is not interfering in the affairs of the country or that country, the High Commissioner added. So, I leave it there. I think basically those were her comments and reaction when she was in that interview on GH1. Let me just pause here and give you the chance. Eric, you look like you want to go first. You want to take the first title?
I honestly feel that that's the whole point of this democratic exercise and enterprise. One of the things that I'm happy about is the fact that the British High Commissioner came out to say that maybe her words were misconstrued. But I also have there's absolutely nothing wrong with the police also coming out strongly to make a point that, yes, if this is how we felt that your comment was going to do, or there's an implication of that particular comment, they had the right to do so. Because we are sovereign nation, right? But of course, I mean, as a diplomat, she's also come out to clarify the fact that maybe she was misconstrued, and she's basically come out to tell us categorically what she meant by what she tweeted and all that. As far as I'm concerned, this is not a really big deal, right? But I'm happy that the police basically also be a bit proactive about it. And if they feel that...
When you say this is not a big deal, are you saying to the police or to her?
On both sides. Right? And we all do that. I mean, sometimes we create this impression that we sit on a certain moral high horse. How many people in this country, in either a political office or public office or media or wherever, would have said something that somebody would have taken a certain meaning to it, or, I mean, preferred a view on it? I mean, everybody does that. But the good thing is that she came back and said that, well, if that is what you thought I meant, that is not the case. Right? So on both sides, they have a right to express a certain opinion on the matter. And I think that the police were right to also say that, yes, I mean, if this is what we felt that you meant, A, B, C, D, I mean, and no Ghanaian, regardless of what you are as a diplomat or whatever, can go to the UK, for example, and flout the rules without the police taking action, and vice versa. And so they made a point. I honestly don't see, sometimes maybe this week there was no news and we wanted to project this particular thing to a certain level. It is not a diplomatic impasse. But
if this has been stretched to a certain point, isn't it the police that have stretched it?
No, not at all.
Did you see the statement?
Not at all.
Can you just project the statement for me?
Lizzie, the reason why, and maybe I'm being very nationalistic on this.
That's it on the screen.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That is what they felt. And they have a responsibility. In security, proactiveness is better than reacting. And so if they felt that that was the position of what was available to them at that time, they have a right to respond. But I'm saying that I'm happy that the High Commissioner also came back and said, that is not what I meant. So as far as I'm concerned, really, you can overstretch the matter, but the reality on the ground is that I don't see any reason why Ghanaians have a problem with the police authority who have a responsibility for the security of the state to say that, well, maybe the way the tweet sounded like you were either trying to get people to think otherwise, because it made certain categories. You can't take the statement in its entirety and say that everything that they wrote in the statement was wrong. They made valid points.
And he was arrested alongside others.
Exactly. So we start in this country where members of parliament are going to parliament, have been arrested by the police for flouting traffic regulations. Right? And they made the point that, yes, of course, he was on his way to court. But the fact that you're on your way to court does not mean that you drive on the wrong side of the road. I'm not saying that's what he did, but the fact that you're going to court does not mean that you break traffic rules. If you have court at 8, you leave home at 6. Right? So we can't justify that. But of course, because maybe there's a certain interest and there's issues with the police already that were being dealt with, maybe that is where the interest came. But she came out and said that she didn't really feel that she was making that particular claim.
But you see, what the police also probably do have a point is, this is a name that is obviously creating waves within the security range by his comments. So it started at a point. So if you single him out and write such a statement, we probably have to come in before we
How did they single him out? Because she made a tweet about him.
Yeah, I'm saying that to understand the police to a certain extent, maybe because of the sensitivity of now when you mention the name Baka, Oliver Baka, something must be associated to it. So they have to step in at some point.
For me, I think that we have to be...
I know Kosipa doesn't agree with me, but...
We have to be principled in this matter.
Yeah.
Leadership at every front is enjoined to make decisions and be proactive in certain instances. What it means is that, even let's assume that the police overreacted and made a mistake, and so what?
They're being proactive.
Yes. Well, so let's assume that they did. And the lady has, because when it comes to issues to do with security and things that can generate and turn into chaos, and there are very little things, right? And sometimes you have to cut them a bit of slack. I'm not saying that everything that they do is good and is professional and perfect and all of those things. But you see, there are decisions that have to be taken off the cuff. And thinking on your feet instantly. So, because a high commissioner has tweeted something, you find some people who are already looking for an opportunity to get onto the streets will get onto the streets. And so, I mean, yes, when these things happen, let's not... I think that if we...
Kosipa keeps turning, look at me and we'll look at you and wondering if we agreed before coming on the show.
No, I mean, honestly, I feel that it's been overstretched. She's a diplomat, she's a professional, she's done this for a while, she understands the reason. I don't think she will even take it personal. And then when you find an opposition party now grant interviews and write statements and all of this, I mean, that political party that is actually telling us that
that's the NDC, just saying.
Exactly. And I looked at the NDC statement and I'm thinking, really, so who is overstretching the matter?
But why are you also trying to jump from the IGP to the NDC? The NDC.
Listen. I am saying that
the police may not be so perfect. They started this range, so if they started it, and then maybe associated organizations feel that, well, we want to respond to you as well. You don't blame the second person that came in or the third person that came in.
Yeah, but that's just why I'm saying
somebody started it at some point.
Listen, that's why I'm saying that the police came out with a statement based on a certain understanding of the tweet. And there's a benefit of hindsight and also coming back. Even you guys in the media, sometimes you write rejoinders and you allow rejoinders and all that. Because you realize that you put something out, right? And after you have done that, there's a new set of facts that you need to add. It happens all the time. I don't really think that really the police has done anything wrong by going hard. Maybe you would have issues with the language or how strongly it was put. But the reality on the ground is that they had a right. There's every right in the national security sense for us to make a determination on what she meant by what she wrote. And I'm telling you that if you speak to her, I mean, I listened to the interview and I read the statement. It doesn't look like somebody that is really upset about it. She also came out to clarify, and that is the whole point.
Well, she was, anyway, I don't know what she was thinking, but I'll come back to you. I want to go to the Black Stars, if you allow me. It's not deliberate. It's not deliberate, but let's cross over to Black Stars. Eric, you mentioned it. So we have a match today. We're just getting a feel of what's happening in Cape Coast. So let's cross over to Nana Poku. God bless our homeland.
Okay, so the fans are already in jubilant mood. About 11 hours to kick off is the Black Stars of Ghana against the Barrier of Madagascar. This will be the third time that the Black Stars will be meeting the Barrier of Madagascar. The first one was in 2003 where they drew 3-3, Black Stars free, Madagascar free over there. But of course, the other one has to do with local Black Stars playing against Madagascar in the Kosafa Cup, where Madagascar defeated the local Black Stars by 2-1. Can the Black Stars, after 19 solid years, beat Madagascar tonight, 7 p.m. here at the Cape Coast Sports Stadium here are some supporters from the Die Hard Supporters Union, and I have here with me the president of the Die Hard Supporters Union. Kindly calm down, Die Hard. I know that by 7 p.m. Here will be filled to capacity, and the fans will come in their numbers. What are you expecting?
Well, first of all, when it is Ghana, it is Ghana supporters. We are expecting bigger because we know Madagascar is not an easy team. 3 years ago, they came to AFCON and we saw what they did. They did so well. There's no minnows in football this time around. But looking at the players, yesterday they played, they did their last training, and you saw how active our players were. We strongly believe that today they will win the match for us massively.
Scoreline?
I'm not a good predictor, but since today is President Kurt Okreku's birthday, I'm sure somewhere 4 or 5.
Yeah, we do. All right, so that's April Jakapama, president of the Ghana Die Hard Supporters Union, predicting 4 or 5 goals for the senior soccer team, the Black Stars of Ghana. Let me speak to some beautiful women here. As far as the women wings is also concerned, what are they bringing on board tonight for the Black Stars to win? Can you speak to us?
Medasi bebre yamin shock say yawa Ghana yize yabaka nye krom kasa ene yamin yaduma nyibiri ya bora ye bobon yasa yankopon do ombrem na yanya kra 4 ana 3 de enyimnyam nye heneze
one she goes
Ghana
make up players yes
me to make say what you try and say the te na baba.
Okay, all right. Let me move to the General Secretary of Die Hard Supporters, Madam Mary, what are you expecting in tonight's game?
Me nyaba na ama ehu say brofo no eya doso ntimi de meka igbi kakra but kuku no Ghana amasiama never Cape Coast never support Black Star awo agba Blaster la wonu different nami katala hihama dawle Blaster ko yo bema la motel na naka womu kaka bada kukuna masiam na nyanko samla nyanko nya Mary Ose Jamra na la Accra na la Cape Coast na la Kumasi na le nyanko sala me kata me ko me dogbara me ko dola Blaster yo na gade no do ganami
what be the score line?
2-0.
Okay, so the General Secretary, the supporters, let me take you to the pitch. This will be the pitch that will be hosting the senior soccer team, the Black Stars of Ghana, and the barrier of Madagascar. Let's find out the texture of the pitch as it stands. Can the Black Stars, predominantly, we have foreign-based players who do not really play local football, so most of the times they complain about the pitch. But this is the texture of the pitch. I can feel it, level, grounded. I can see the mower, doing his work and all that. But the pitch is ready for the big game tonight at 7 p.m. The Ghana Football Association and National Sports Authority, they have announced the tickets for the game tonight, and they are saying that it's going for 50 Ghana cedis VIP and then 20 Ghana cedis popular stand over there. So the pitch is ready, the stage is set for the big game tonight. It's Ghana Black Stars versus the barrier of Madagascar in the 2023 African Cup of Nations qualifiers. Remember, the last outing for the Black Stars, it didn't go well for them, so they'll be making amends by qualifying to the 2023 African Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast. It will also serve as a platform for them as they prepare for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Yesterday, the head coach of the senior soccer team, the Black Stars of Ghana, Otuado, made us understood that his men are ready for this particular fixture. There are no minnows in world football anymore, but they are going all out to beat Madagascar. My name is Nanaya Opokun, and I've been reporting from Cape Coast Sports Stadium, 15,000 capacity, and we envisage that it will be filled to capacity. So over to you, Annie Efua Ampofo, host of Good Morning Ghana, this edition. Over to you, Annie.
Thank you, Nanaya. It sounded a bit scary mentioning my name in full like that. Anyway, so that is the Cape Coast Stadium where Nanaya Opoko is coming from. Someone texted me and asking, Annie, why are you not in your jersey today? I don't know. I was really contemplating whether to wear or not to wear, but I landed on not wearing. Maybe I want the end of today's match and then I'll get into the mood of wearing. But let's see how it ends. Ghana versus Madagascar will be this one day. We have to prove ourselves. So let me come back to Kwesi Pratt on our issue of the IGP, British High Commissioner.
Well, I think that one of the most important things in this discussion is the fact that the young man at the center of this controversy, Vomawo, is on trial. And all of us are stopped from making prejudicial statements. You understand? Statements which would imply that he's guilty even before the trial has completed. He's not an insurrectionist. We cannot at this stage confirm that he was planning a coup d'etat or that he even intended to plan one. These are matters before the courts, and the courts would have to make those determinations. So as far as I'm concerned, this discussion is not about Vomawo.
No.
I mean, he's an innocent person until proven guilty by a competent court. And even if he's proven guilty by a competent court, he still has the right and the opportunity to go all the way to the Supreme Court, to establish his innocence and so on. So we ought to be fair to that young man in this discussion. It's not the matter which is being discussed, that's a very important point for me. Now, the second issue has to do with those who claim that the police response was an overkill and that the police should not have issued a 4-page statement. My goodness, what the British High Commissioner did, if you were to put it in historical perspective, you could actually write 30 books, not pages, 30 books about the statement that she made. There's a long history of disrespect to the Ghanaian people. There's a long history of the subversion of the sovereignty of Ghana. There's a long history of interference in the affairs of Ghana by especially Western diplomats. And if you were to go on that tangent, I insist that you can actually write 30 books and it will not be an overkill. In 1961, the 7th British High Commissioner was A.W. Snelling. A.W. Snelling. A.W. Snelling, in September of 1961, wrote a cable to his home government in which A.W. Snelling insisted that the continued governance of the CPP and Nkrumah was not in the interest of the British people, and that the British establishment needed to do everything possible to get rid of Nkrumah. He's a British High Commissioner. I mean, what impudence, what arrogance. British High Commissioner calling for the overthrow of the Nkrumah government in an official document. You cannot be discussing this matter without reference to what A.W. Snelling wrote in 1961. And since then, we've had some British diplomats clearly insulting the common sense of the Ghanaian people, clearly interfering in our domestic affairs and so on. And that is why this tweet by this High Commissioner immediately sparks a certain level of anxiety, a certain level of rejection and so on, because of the history. If you don't know the history, fine. You can treat this as just a small tweet and so on. But it is not. There's a long history of arrogance, of unbridled breach of diplomatic rules and so on. And I'm worried about that. You have to read Philip Aggie. Philip Aggie, who is a former station chief of the Central Intelligence Agency of the United States of America. Read Philip Aggie. Read John Stockwell. Read Richard Mahoney, who have actually documented Western interference in the affairs of Ghana, especially leading to the overthrow of the Nkrumah government. And if you read Richard Mahoney's book, JFK, the title of the book is JFK, Ordeal in Africa, and you see how the West, through engagement with the Ghanaian media and engagement with the Ghanaian opposition, actively subverted the Nkrumah government. You will not treat this just as an ordinary tweet. There's that history and so on. And some of the things which have been documented in history is shocking. 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 Absolutely shocking. And as Ghanaians, we should be proud enough to stand up in defense of our national sovereignty. And it doesn't matter whether it is MPP in government or it's NDC in government. It doesn't matter. You understand? Sometimes we tend to think that if it is the NDC which is in government, anything and everything which pits them against anybody or any institution, we should be on the side of that institution as a means of weakening the political party in power. If we do that, we'll be damaging our national sovereignty. If we do that, we'll be causing substantial damage to national dignity and so on. What is the business of the British High Commissioner commenting on somebody who has been arrested for a traffic offense? What is the business? There are some commentators, and Eric did that this morning. I was quite angry with Eric this morning to say that both the British High Commissioner and the Inspector General of Police have the same rights.
No, so they have a right to come back with whatever it is that they
but they don't have the same rights.
Yeah.
The Inspector General of Police of Ghana has a different, different sets of rules.
No, but because that was in relation to coming back to clarify what has
no
been.
problem.
Yeah, that's in relation
whatever it is, the British High Commissioner does not have the same rights as the Inspector General of Police of Ghana. They don't.
Yeah, that's accepted.
The British High Commissioner is guided by the Vienna Convention, which stops her from making statements that would appear to amount to interference in Ghanaian affairs. The IGP doesn't operate under the Geneva Convention. The two of them operate differently and separately under different rules. And I think that we need to appreciate that. Now, what in the IGP statement is offensive? I don't see anything which is offensive in the IGP statements. The IGP simply poses questions. He says, in your country, don't people who commit traffic offenses get arrested? What is the harm in this question? The IGP says that if a Ghanaian diplomat tweeted the same way that you have tweeted, how would your government have reacted to that Ghanaian diplomat? Is that not a legitimate question? The IGP says that, look, you are guided, in fact, the laws of Ghana and so on are fashioned on the laws of the empire, the British Empire. You understand? If you look at our laws, we fashion them on that basis. What is the problem with law enforcement and so on? The courts could decide tomorrow, any day, that the case against this young man, Vomao, is frivolous, is vexatious and so on, and dismiss it. That is going through due process. You understand? It is not for any high commissioner or ambassador to be telling our courts how to operate and to be telling our police how to work and so on. Why? The things they do in their own countries. The racism in the UK. The racism against black people in the UK. The racism against colored people in the UK. The killing of innocent people by the police in the UK. If we want to comment about that, we could write volumes, we could tweet 1,000,000 times. Why? Only recently, the chief of the Metropolitan Police in the UK resigned. What was the reason? Go and read the reason why she resigned. And then you don't talk about that. You are talking about what Dampare is doing in Ghana. Go and talk about the London police, the unfair treatment of black people and so on. Go and focus on that. Do you think that if Papa Owusu Nkrumah, who is the High Commissioner in London, had tweeted the way she tweeted about discrimination in the British police against black people, what would have happened to him? Don't you think that the Foreign and Commonwealth Office would have summoned him and given him a brushing on the face? Why are we not doing the same? I am actually surprised that our Foreign Minister, Shirley Anoko-Botwe, did not summon this High Commissioner to her office and give her a few lessons in diplomacy. I'm really surprised. It shouldn't even have come from the Inspector General of Police. I am really surprised that we haven't done that. You know, because this is an affront. It's a complete affront to all of us. Complete affront. You know, I mean, maybe we should go back to history. Maybe we should make some of the information about A.W. Snelling and how he subverted the Nkrumah government and so on available to the public. Maybe we should encourage people to read Philip Agee and read John Stockwell and read Richard Mahoney and so on, and see how Western diplomats have meddled in our internal affairs to our detriment. You understand? And maybe that will wake our people up. I am disgusted. I am completely disgusted. And then she comes back and says, that is not what I meant.
That was not the intention.
It may very well be that that was not her intention. It may very well be that that is not what she meant. But she's not the only person reading her tweet. There are millions of people reading her tweet, and I'm one of those millions. And all of us reading her tweet have also a right to interpret it the way our background and so on allows. And that is why diplomats ought to be cautious when they write, when they speak. That is why diplomats ought to put on their thinking caps when they want to make public statements. I am disgusted with the tweet of the British High Commissioner. Completely disgusted. And look, I suspect that it is because of this NDC-MPP divide that a lot of people want to take Dan Parry on. You know, they think that they are scoring against Dan Parry. They are getting the British on their side against Dan Parry. That's a foolish game. Completely foolish game. My dignity as a Ghanaian is at stake. National sovereignty is at stake. We ought to stand up against all these arrogant diplomats who think that they can talk down to us, who think that they can teach us lessons. What lessons can any diplomat whose country was involved in the transatlantic slave trade teach us? And they have not even apologized for their role in the transatlantic slave trade. What lessons can they teach us? What lessons can any diplomat whose country prospered on the back of colonialism, classical colonialism, teach us about human values and so on? They haven't even apologized for colonialism. Today, they are engaged in a neo-colonial exploitation of not just Ghana, of Africa, of countries in Asia and Latin America. And they would teach us moral lessons. Please, they have no lessons to teach us. No lessons.
Let me capture it to you. Eric Chum. Is Eric Chum saying that we are a sovereign country? When the former British Commissioner, John Benjamin, was all over some years back saying all kinds of things about the Eswal Mahama government, Eric Chum and his MPP people were very happy about it. Didn't they know that we were a sovereign country then? When it favors them, it's okay. But when it doesn't, it's not okay. That is the kind of people they are. Maxwell Apabli is the one that sends it.
Is he saying that we are not a sovereign country?
You have the right to interpret.
But that's a whole. But is he saying that we are not?
No, good morning, Annie. Let me just finish. You respond to all. So, good morning, Annie. The IGP should have checked with the Foreign Minister for advice on the tweet by the High Commissioner. For advice, how? I mean, okay, well, before coming out with a response, I don't see anything wrong with the tweet from Alhaji Haruna. You also have the right to interpret it the way you want it. Annie, I think the IGP goofed big time in writing such a lengthy episode to the High Commissioner of the United Kingdom. I think the IGP should have simply registered his concerns with the Foreign Affairs Ministry, or better still, the Office of the President for the necessary response. It said that the monkeys play by sizes, and I don't think, oh wow.
I mean, this is now getting to some limits. You are saying that the British High Commissioner is superior to Inspector General of Police.
So let me finish.
Can you believe this?
So you said that it said that monkey plays by sizes, but the IGP should have averted his mind and that of the office of that. He has crossed the diplomatic line. So he says that he's crossed the diplomatic line and needs to apologize for and let's move on. Some at least they're going. That's how you think. Or this what you think?
I will be so disappointed if the IGP apologizes, and I will publicly.
Has he crossed the diplomatic line?
What diplomatic line has he crossed? His job is under attack. His office is under attack. The performance of the police is under attack.
Come to think of it, I don't think the IGP did this on the blind side of central government.
Hold on. And we are being told that he's crossed the line. What line? Who says that the Inspector General of Police of Ghana is inferior to a British High Commissioner? Who says that?
Your IGP.
But what's that?
Come on.
I can't believe what's happening.
I would refuse commentary further on this.
So
I don't want to say something
that. Ashiko says that, hi Annie, the last paragraph of the IGP's formal response got me laughing after the long read. So yes, the British ambassador's comments and tweets is condescending, if you ask me. I'm in principle opposed to especially Western interference in our local day-to-day politics. It's worth placing in record. Some of these in the past in other jurisdictions have incited sections of the populace. But the IGP too, what is this long letter just in response to a small tweet? What do you call it, a small tweet? But the last line rendered that whole piece informal. He could have just summarized the letter nicely to capture all the issues in intent. A diplomatic engagement could have been great. Prosper Ashikwe sent that in. Jifa Gomashi says that, come on, beautiful, stop the attempt to read Mr. Pratt's mind. That person who will speak his mind regardless. More like me. I think, okay, let me keep what I think. Edug actually says that today is Professor Ali Nachia's birthday. So, Prof. Ali Nachia, happy birthday to you. He was my lecturer in law taxation. I'm eternally grateful. Okay, Edug, I've read it. Good morning and happy birthday to you, Prof. So, Chumbafo says, good morning, Annie. Please, was the police administration in place when John Benjamin was a British High Commissioner to Ghana? John Benjamin used to attend opposition rallies and Dr. Baumia's lectures. John Benjamin is on record having even tweeted excoriating the NDC because we were having a demonstration whose route straddled Akufo-Addo's home. So where was the NPP then? John Benjamin petitioned the Home Secretary to institute processes to withdraw the permanent resident status of Mugabe Mase because of the Muntes Free matter. Mind you, Mugabe was not convicted of any crime whatsoever. Did the NPP know about interference in our internal affairs? Did they know that that time that there was a Vienna Convention? Again, do the NPP remember?
No, but is the IGP now MPP?
Commissioner
is that
who
what
took
it is?
delight
I don't understand
and unashamedly aimed the NPP to come to power in 2001, or aided, the NPP to come into power in 2001, and was rewarded with a contractual arrangement from which he profited. It's a question. This IGP should stop his populist activities and concentrate on his core mandates, please. I think this also includes his core mandates.
I think that, look, there's a point at which this partisanship, ought to come to some end. There's a point at which we need to act together as Ghanaian people and stand tall in defense of national sovereignty, in defense of our dignity. So John Benjamin did it. You were not happy with John Benjamin.
Exactly.
Now Harriet Watt is doing it, and we're happy with her. Why is the principle?
Right.
Why is the principle? We should act on the basis of principle, not on the basis of political advantage. And the principle is that we are Ghanaian people. At some point in history, we were considered uncivilized and not equal to a certain category of the human race. At some point in our history, we were captured as beasts of burden to work the fields in North America and Europe so that Europe could prosper. At some point in life, under classical colonialism, our resources were stolen from us. They were exploited for the benefit of foreigners, not us. In 1452, the Pope of the Catholic Church, actually issued the papal bull authorizing King Afonso of Portugal to come and civilize us, and that those of us who refuse to convert to Christianity ought to be killed. Our wives ought to be seized. Our properties ought to be seized, and so on. Read the papal bull. These are people who have been subjected to all these indignities, and they have not even apologized for what they have subjected us to throughout history and what they are doing to us today. If this guides us, we'll be mindful of even minor infractions, which suggest arrogance and impudence.
Someone says, Musa in Kumasi says, Annie, I find it extremely difficult to understand why Eric Chum is trivializing this serious issue. So the letter written by the IGP was misguided and miscalculated. It has tendency of jeopardizing the bilateral relationship between Ghana and the UK. The High Commissioner was simply showing an interest in why Oliver's human rights abuse.
You see, listen.
When he gave, let me finish. When he gave the grants, we won't complain. But when they add their voices to bad governance we're experiencing today, they say stop interfering in our affairs. The government has thrown human rights to the dogs. God save Ghana, you say. That's what Musa also thinks.
You see, Annie, I think that it's very important that this whole conversation is situated in the manner that I presented it. And everybody has a right. I mean, I will not, say that he's wrong to say that I'm trivializing the matter. But the matter here, for me, as far as I'm concerned, has not degenerated into a diplomatic impasse, right? And the fact that the IGP presents a position on that particular tweet, as far as I'm concerned, is being proactive. And when you want to take away the security implications and all of those things, and these are things that hinges on being proactive. And so if that has actually solicited a response from the British High Commissioner, so be it. Because you see, the same people, all these people writing all these things, including Kojo Chumbuafo and co, will be the same people sitting on the fence that would say that, well, when the thing came, the security authorities were not proactive and it degenerated into something. And something has to give at a point. And the whole essence of leadership is to take decisions and be proactive, right? Because hindsight, this is early morning TV, I would have used the actual phrase, but hindsight is everybody can do it. But it's people who are able to think on their feet and actually be proactive when it comes to these things and forestall the occurrence of these things are the ones that we should be minding, and putting in places like that. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with the IGP. And all these persons, all of a sudden, trying to marry the IGP with the NPP and the government, I don't really understand. There has not been an official response from government circles. The IGP is doing his job, and the gentleman, Oliver, was apprehended. No, I was saying that I don't even believe that the IGP did this without the knowledge of even the foreign ministry or the information ministry. That can be speculative. That's fine. But the gentleman...
We are allowed to speculate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
yeah.
that can be, that's speculated. But the gentleman in question, right, is a citizen of this country, fair enough. He's going about his duties, been apprehended by the police. So if anybody would come out to actually tell us what the real issues are and also put their points across, it would be the police. And how would you even be commenting this morning if, for example, this particular incident is being commented on by the foreign minister, for example, because they had no hand in the gentleman being apprehended, right? Without going to the merits of the issues.
It gets to a point where you need to put aside your biases and also look at
No,
it.
because because I have a bias. I'm MPP, and so
even at this point, you may want to look at it without any MPP colors.
So that's why I was even a bit charitable with the response from the.
Right.
I don't really understand this point, you know. And sometimes it's even you're talking about this thing. I won't mention his name. There are people who were upset that Ghana qualified for the World Cup. I was sitting with a very senior member of the opposition, and I was like, oh, is people upset with him that he was congratulating the Black Stars for winning and all that because when it's under an Akufo-Addo administration, we are going to the World Cup, and then that is basically a feather in our cap. This is getting ridiculous.
Okay.
There are certain things that are of a certain nationalistic nature. And we need to eschew
We
that.
will still stay
and
a
the
little
same people,
longer.
the same people who are making this point that John Benjamin this, and all of those things are now actually trying to justify that if, without being prejudicial, if a statement had come from any high commissioner or an ambassador, by virtue of the fact that in the past John Benjamin was tweeting, that means that that is right. How can you make that kind of argument?
Look, it's a very simple test. What the British High Commissioner or some British High Commissioners have done in Ghana, will Ghanaian High Commissioners to the UK be allowed to do the same thing? And if Ghanaian High Commissioners to the UK would not be allowed to do the same thing, then accepting what British High Commissioners to Ghana do, which we would not be allowed to do, accept that we are inferior. And I'm in no mood to accept my inferiority on the basis of my race with any other person, any other nation. No African is inferior. The Ghanaian has never been inferior. And what they do, we should be able to do same.
Right. So, still staying a little longer with the police invite sub-chiefs over flogging of lovers at the forecourt of Wanat's Palace. Now, the police in the Upper West region say they have invited some chiefs in the Wanat Palace to their office over the flogging of two persons at the forecourt. So, in an interview, Upper West Regional Crime Officer Chief Superintendent Renaud Mantiao said that it's surprising that the assault of the individuals took place at the forecourt of the palace. Now, he explained that although the Wana himself was not available, when the incident took place, the police believe there were some sub-chiefs present who can offer the police some information. We have the video. Can we just have it played in a few seconds and then we touch a bit on it before we wrap up? Is ready. We will play, but let me have your take on it. I think the video is clear enough that whoever was standing by, you can see it. I mean, it was daylight. It wasn't even in the evening. So, I mean.
Well, I have no doubt at all that this is a video which is going to go viral. Going to go all over the world. It's going to get media attention throughout the world and so on. And to some very large extent, Ghana is going to be defined by this video for a long time to come. That's my worry. That's my worry. You understand? Whatever the reasons and so on, this is how Ghana is going to be defined. All our attempts at promoting tourism, all our attempts at promoting whatever good image Ghana has, will be destroyed by this reckless video. You understand? And I'm very deeply worried. This is the definition we are providing for ourselves as Ghanaians. And in fact, For those outside this country who will be watching that video, they would not be distinguishing between Wa and Apam. You know, for them, Wa doesn't exist. It's Ghana. This is how Ghanaians treat people and so on. I'm so sick that this video, was shot in the first place and has been distributed, so very widely. Now, what is the story? We are told that a sex video emerged involving the two persons who are being caned. I don't know whether they released that video. I don't know the circumstances under which that video was shot. You understand? May well have been shot by them, may well not have been shot by them, may well have been released by them, may well not have been released by them. Now, watching the video, it is obvious that this girl is above 18 years old. So obvious.
Well, they said they were teenagers. Their ages are not out yet, but they said they're teenagers.
It would be important to know their ages,
yes.
and so on,
yes.
To make a determination. Now, I was happy yesterday when I saw a story late in the night, around 10:30, indicating that the WANA was condemning this public caning. Now, if it is true that the WANA has condemned this public caning, then I think it may be necessary not to link the WAS king, to what has happened. But if you read the police report indicates that at the time that the caning was taking place, there were some chiefs in the palace. And the police expect that these sub-chiefs will provide some information, some valuable information and so on. Clearly what happened, the public caning and so on, is a flagrant abuse of the rights of the people involved. I mean, pornography is a crime, spread of pornographic material and so on. It's a crime in our country. If it's a crime, is this the way to deal with them? What due process were they subjected to which established their guilt? What due process? What due process? No due process whatsoever. And I'm very, very...
Is it possible that this will happen at the forecourts of the WANA's palace and he says he doesn't know anything about it?
He was not in the palace, according to the police statement. He was not in the palace. And late last night, I saw a statement attributed to the WANA condemning what had happened. So I think we have to be fair to the WANA. But this is barbaric. Extremely barbaric. This should not be allowed anywhere. This is like lynching. This is mob action. And we should not encourage that. If we begin to encourage these practices, what cannot happen to anybody? Mob action. This is clearly a mob action. And I feel sick that this has happened, And look at those people lashing them so happily. What moral standards do they themselves have to be condemning others for immorality?
Some picture epilepsy. I'm not even comfortable watching because I don't understand what's going on.
And you see, they make the point, the boy and the girl are dressed up. Watch the video. They intend to do maximum damage to them, to the extent that the girl is being whipped on the face. Look at the material they're using to whip them, and they whip them on the face. Stop it.
Eric.
I don't even know where to start from. I see that as a retrogression in the kind of work we've done in trying to establish democratic tenets. And this is essentially an abuse of the rights of these individuals, regardless of what they might have done. Because even when you apprehend criminals, you have absolutely no right to exact your own kind of justice. And this is a mob action that, for me, should be condemned. The police, they indicated, are trying to investigate the matter. They should do that in earnest. And then also, I think that it shouldn't stop there. We all understand and appreciate various nuances and cultural practices and beliefs across the length and breadth of this country. And I think that some kind of work has to go into getting people to have a certain appreciation of what they are allowed to do and not. Because there's a very thin line between people feeling that they have a right to be holding their viewpoints and cultural practices and all that, and what essentially flies in the face of our democracy. And for me, I think it's wrong, but it shouldn't stop there, you know. So, you know, when these things happen, the tendency is to call for some kind of retribution and punishment and all that. That would be in the bosom of the law. But the reality is that people still hold these beliefs, but it is not in conformity with the democratic tenets that we are trying to establish in this country. And some work has to go into that to ensure that you don't, you see, and it can even be one of the things that, for me, I find even the rule of law as very important is that you can do stuff that might affect people who are innocent, just by virtue of the fact that maybe an allegation has been made or you suspect something. That's why it's important that we all stick by what the processes are. And even when people have done things that you find untoward or you think that they've broken the law, we should be minded by the processes that you have to take. This is really sad. And you see, I think that Kwesi touched on the fact that we're trying to attract tourism and attract people into this country. And Ghana as a country is seen a certain light on the global landscape.
When I spoke with our reporter, I asked him if this has been the practice in the past. He said they've never had this punishment before.
And I am.
So is this new?
You see, I
was trying to battle. I wasn't trying to. I was battling with what the cultural practices have been in trying to protect the youth in going into responsible persons, as against what the Constitution says we should be doing. Where do we draw the line? I didn't want to come out immediately.
I am a bit alarmed because of the persons who are actually exacting the punishment. You see, because you see, there's a very thin line between this and even trying to create some kind of. I'm very careful not to go there, but you see, we have to be very careful that young people do not wake up and feel that they have a right to do these things, right? And these are things that would give room for people now expressing extremist views and on stuff and all of those things, and how they feel that they can be able to right some wrongs that they feel that are in the public domain. And we have to be very careful with these things, you know. And even if you want to even digress a little bit, right? And there's even this debate about corporal punishment and its effects and everything. And sometimes I think there was a point where I was listening to some teacher groups who were very adamant that corporal punishment was such a brilliant thing, you know. And I cracked a joke once. I was like, this is a country that I'm sure everybody that has been to primary school in this country has been either lashed or punished for coming to school late before. But what do we do?
But is this how
90%, 100% of the people still end up coming to public events late. You understand? So I'm just making the point that we have to be very careful in the way we do these things, in how we try to even exact, because sometimes you're trying to engender a mindset change and perceptions and views on things and all that, and you can't use that. I mean, I don't know what the purpose is instead to prevent young people from engaging in immoral acts. No, but you can properly use the same channels to educate them on what the repercussions are if you engage in these things. You know, I'm very sad.
Have we absolutely ruled out corporal punishment?
And that's what I'm saying, that even that is a conversation. You see, there's a funny conversation. If it is wrong to hit a child, an adult, for any act, why is it okay to hit a child?
Why is it wrong to hit a child in Ghana?
No, but I'm asking you, it's a question. That if for example, I get upset with Uncle Kwesi and I punch.
Don't get upset with me. Especially when you going to me to hit him.
And then I hit him, right? right? People will say, "Wow, why would you do that?" It's like it's a
certainly not by your arms.
It's a shock feeling. But if somebody walked in here and I had a cane and maybe my daughter or son was being raped, they'll think that it's okay. And we need to engage in these kinds of conversation because these people who are doing this thing feel that it's right to actually tie somebody to a stake.
Anthony Nupenu says that. Good morning to you, Annie. Please tell Comrade Pratt that if we have to act as Ghanaians and unprincipled, what are we doing at Commonwealth, and why are we going cup in hand receiving arms from the UK? When you continue playing with the puppy, it will lick your mouth, you say. So, but I understand Pratt because of his long-held Pan-Africanism. In one breath, Ghanaians should act as Ghanaians with principles and their cultural values. In that same breath, when a Ghanaian community disciplines its citizen of gross misbehavior, you have a challenge because Western powers will define Ghana in a certain way. What is this double standard, you say? Who cares about how another country looks at how community disciplines its people? This form of useless laws in our books, you say, are the very problem why the society has broken down. I support the lashing. Nupenu, that's what you think.
Wow.
Please.
Yes.
You see, sometimes we invite ourselves to display our ignorance. This happened on Western Aid. It's so uninformed, it's unbelievable. There are many studies over the years indicating that what the West gives us as aid is far less than what they take out of our economy. And in fact, various studies have suggested that Western aid is like a bait. You put it at the end of the hook, throw it into the river, the fish swallows it, and you catch the whole fish, and so on. So to suggest that because we get Western aid, we should allow them to come and trample upon our rights and insult us, we should allow a British High Commissioner like A.W. Snelling to actually work for the overthrow of the Nkrumah government is nothing but ignorance, crass ignorance. That is what it is. You understand?
Right.
Then there's the second part. I'm not opposed to the flogging of these teenagers in Wa because it doesn't meet Western standards. That is not my argument. It is not my argument at all. I'm saying that as a human being, as somebody who has gone through all the things that I've gone through, mob action is reprehensible and needs to be condemned. I'm saying that before you convict anybody, they should be allowed due process. And due process is not Western, it's not Eastern, it's not Asian, it's not African. Due process is a process which ensures that justice is done.
According to the laws of your country.
Exactly. Due process is a process which ensures that there is irrefutable evidence to suggest guilt. You understand? So please, when you take your phone and you are texting and so on, please don't assume that all of us are as ignorant as you are.
On this note, we'll take a break. We'll take a break. We'll be back shortly.
Are you tired as a consumer in Ghana when it comes to issues that confront you as a consumer? Worry no more. Kofi Capito, I'm here to give you the information, all that you need to make sure that your right is protected as a consumer. We have too many laws and agencies that should protect the rights of the consumer. I'm here to give you the information that will help and assist you to get goods and services delivered to you without any worries. Watch The Capito Show on Metro TV.
in these last days.
That day will never come, will not come, unless
the falling away comes
number one,
first,
the falling away comes first,
and the man of sin is revealed.
and the man of sin is revealed.
Something extraordinary is eventuating.
After the man of sin is revealed, that's when the day of the Lord will come.
A wonder, a stupendous spectacle.
The one who is restraining the Antichrist is restraining the Antichrist so that the Antichrist will not be revealed before his day,
Yes.
but he will be revealed exactly on his time.
Yes, sir.
And the restrainer is a he.
Never before witnessed. Watch the Word of Life live broadcast with Prophet John Anoche. This and every Saturday at 7 a.m. on Metro TV.
Good morning, Nani. So this morning, quickly, we're going to talk about Mr. Ziwufiasem, or the Ghana Police Service says Ziwufiasem and a Diwufiasem to the British High Commissioner. And then we talk about something that happened in WAD that a lot of people have been reacting to on social media. And then we talk about the Black Stars also. My name is Desifrating the Star. But let's begin with your comments about the show this morning. And so let's see that on Twitter. You can join in. The hashtag is Good Morning Ghana or at Metro TV. This one says the IGP goofed and must accept and retract this love letter to the UK ambassador. Is the IGP now the foreign minister or the national security minister of Ghana? The future is pregnant. Prince Harry Koforidua sending that in. This one says that it is only a stranger who will be surprised with the response from Dampare. No appointees of Nana Akufo-Addo is tolerant. They are learning from their boss. Ghana is at a crossroads. Bermo Say22 sending that one in. And this one says, Good morning, Ghana. By now, the Ghana Police Service are busily typing our line really hard to explain the meaning of the English they wrote to the English. I wonder if... that's kind of crazy. I get it. The English they wrote to the English. I wonder if the media misinterpreted what we meant. They've been telling Ghanaians would work on the English. Okay, so those are some of your comments coming in. Now let's talk about the issues of Dampare trending on Twitter. Number one on social media. Everybody's talking about this particular statement from the Ghana Police Service. So let's see some of the comments about that particular situation. After Harriet Thompson, the British High Commissioner, this one says that Dampare likes him. He is getting tons of it. Why complain? Oh, Kofi Adoli sending that one in. And this one says, you've got to love Dampare. Or bet you on one time. Or any Friday sending that one in. And this one says, GH Police, the tone and posture of your statement is undiplomatic. Dampare, did you really do this? And yes, this one, one time.
People must have their own opinions and interpretations about the actions of Dampare. And people think that it's popularism, it's popularity, it's fame,
celebrity.
And all that. I mean, that is the man's way of working. And at some point, we must have a change of mind and be satisfied and content. If we have an IGP, he cannot be perfect. He is not perfect. If you don't agree with him with some actions he takes, in his security range, he feels that this must be done and he has done it. And we must appreciate him for that and not necessarily see it as chasing fame.
But I think that for the past week, I mean, from Nkoranza to the police station we're talking about on Monday to this one, it's gotten the police in a very tight corner. Everybody trying to say something.
It's within him, and we're having our own fight in the country. We can deal with him at some level, but when he is also trying to protect you against a diplomatic interference,
I just think otherwise, into us in there, but she said that was a harmless tweet. Oh, maybe now let's move on and talk about what. Hey, I said I got onto Twitter. I saw what trending. You can go check. There'll be small lashing. It reminded me of when we're in school, when you come to school late. But this one, I know what shit. So a man and a woman, or a gentleman and a lady, got themselves into trouble after their explicit video got out, and then they were tied onto a pole and being lashed. You see the video on your screen in a bit. And I mean, viewers' discretion though. If you're someone who wouldn't want to see that, but we can have that on your screen in a bit. And so that is it. And Charlie, it is really disheartening that none of them saw anything wrong with this.
It reminds you when you were in school and you were late and you whipped in front of the assembly.
Yeah. She hit her face. He hit her face with it. And that's the gentleman. And a lot of people have been reacting to that. And usually we say that, oh, this is no good for happening for Ghana. But Charlie. So this one says that I would never understand that in the 21st century Ghana, a traditional ruler in one could sentence citizens to public flogging. I mean, well, we understand that the leaders, they don't know anything about it. Well, is it true that Wana and the police have distanced themselves from the act, saying they are not aware of the punishment? So those are some of the comments coming in about the situation, and we'll wait to see what the police will do about it. But people have mentioned that in previous times, the police they've reacted to things that have popped up online, and so this shouldn't be something that the police should wait for. Others, they should just...
Well, they're working at it. Yeah. They've showed interest.
Well, we'll see how, but that is...
So really today is Professor Ali Nacha. Happy birthday. Today is his birthday, and this is coming from lawyer Eduji Tamaklo. He says that he was my lecturer in law taxation. I'm eternally grateful. Today is also a birthday of Honorable... She's known on Facebook as Honorable Ama Frimpong. She is with the Information Ministry. Okay. Yeah, today is her birthday. Yesterday was former Foreign Minister Hannah Tete's birthday as well. Okay, so belated happy birthday to you.
And June is my month, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the beautiful month of June. Black Stars playing today. Let's support them against Madagascar in Cape Coast.
In that jersey?
Oh, no. I don't think they're going to wear that for now. No, I don't think so.
We'll see you tomorrow. Good luck to the Black Stars.